Welcome to Market Like a Hotshot, episode 18. Jeff DeSocio, James Feudo.
What's going on?
Short, long sleeves, man.
I know.
I think fall has finally arrived here in Massachusetts today.
I feel like I needed like a rowboat to get into work this morning with the torrential downpours we had this morning.
I know,
It was
my
like,
grass is like, yes, yes, right? Yeah, because I'll tell you, it's been very dry. It's like I thought Massachusetts became Arizona
right.
the last few weeks. It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
Sunny, warm, and all that. But you know what? We're gonna pay the price, Mr. Feudo.
I know.
I think going to Q4 now, and it's gonna get chillier and all that. So yeah, we're a market. This is a great marketing podcast. I've been hearing that. A lot of people have been subscribing to us.
Yeah. And people want to know about your roof, by the way. So maybe give us a quick update before we get on to our topic.
I know I picked the vendor, man. After five, I did 5 quotes.
Nice.
The where this person won my business was he was very personable and honest.
Yeah.
I noticed a couple weren't so honest. They were like, hey, they had great reviews. And then I go look up online and see all I see is complaints.
Right.
Right. So be honest like a hot shot. We'll talk about that one.
Integrity like a hot shot. That's going to be an episode at some point. So what's our topic for today?
Hey, it's something near and dear to my heart, right?
Yeah.
It's hire like a hot shot. So this is geared a lot towards any small business owner, any hiring manager, whether you're in a startup, mid-market company, or even a large enterprise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hiring like a hot shot and marketing your company to the A players,
right,
like a hot shot, is key to grow your business.
Absolutely. And I know, so this is one of those things where maybe if your company is not currently at the stage where you're ready to hire people, or if you're a solopreneur and you want to stay that way, this would be a good episode for you to bookmark and to save, because you can come back and refer to it, because some of the things that we're going to talk about today would be really helpful. It's stuff that I wish I had known when I started trying to hire people.
Yeah, I know, because we were very tactical back in the day.
Right.
I've done numerous presentations recently to career groups about branding yourself for today's economy. Check out the videos on our YouTube channel somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really, you have to brand your company for today's economy. So the A players out there, the ones that are in demand, whether they have a certain skill set, they're picking you. It's not you. The days of the companies asking the candidate, "Oh, what's your biggest weakness?" This and that, all these questions. It's like what we have trained our candidates, at our recruiting company, is to interview the company. So the company really has to be on on the mark.
Right.
Or if they like to get A players. And, that's really what it is. It doesn't start with job boards or resumes for the hiring company. It really starts with your mindset. So you were a hiring manager for many years. What was your mindset? Like, how did you develop that mindset as a hiring manager?
Well, I mean, the thing that helped me was that I was working at a Fortune 100 company, retailer.
The largest company in MetroWest, right?
Right. One of the largest companies. So we had an excellent reputation that made it super easy. When I started my business full time, when I transitioned over to JVF, I had to build up to that.
Yeah.
And it took us time, but, to get the best talent, you've got to give them reason to want to work for you. And a lot of times people just think about it as like compensation and things like that. But there's so many other things that you want to be able to communicate out to people. In fact, a lot of our marketing now, and I don't know if you do this with your staffing work, but a lot of our marketing now is geared towards potential team members as well. So it's not just going out there like, we can build your website, we can do your digital marketing. This is a fun place to work. This is a fun team. We do fun things. We work on fun projects. So
yeah, it's really key. So, and I work with hiring managers all the time. Clients of ours, our staffing company.
Yeah.
And it's always like checking a box. Here's the job description, and they have, you got to check this.
Yeah.
They make sure they have, they know this technology. They've been a project manager for has to be 5+ years.
Right.
Or, they have all the, they were only a project manager for 4 years. Nope, I don't want to talk to them. Really, in reality, you got to look at this person as, will this person be a leader at my company? and change their mindset to that. I want to develop folks that are going to be leaders at our
Right.
company, because those are the ones that may even stay at a company longer if they know that you're going to support their career growth,
Right.
which is a little missing today. Remember
Yeah.
the days we used to, I mean, I traveled all over the world, right? When I was in IT, learning, going to classes. Companies used to, they groomed you to be a
Yeah.
leader,
Yeah,
right?
they did.
And, you have to get back to that a little bit, especially with your A players. So it goes into that mindset shift, right? You don't want to you don't want to just fill a seat.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we work with some clients, they're very reactive. Oh, shoot, somebody quit. I need to fill this fast. But think about your company's shaping your company's future, right? So I'm gonna ask you, you own your own company today. How are you hiring the right people to shape your company's future?
It's funny because, and you may remember we had a conversation about something similar to this after attending some of the events you and I have been at and talking to a lot of people that are looking for work. And what we do is we hire for fit more than anything because we can teach people the technical skills. That's not hard to do.
If they're a
Yeah.
quick learner, I love that word. I'm a
Yeah.
quick learner. But if they've demonstrated that they've picked up different skill sets over their career,
Right.
they've already passed the test, right?
Yeah. I mean, they have to have, they want to, they have to have the desire to learn, the desire to grow, the ambition, those are the types of things we look for more than, checking a box off. We do have, we have one position that requires a certain amount of experience in the industry, but that there's a reason for that, I'm not going to get into here, but
Yeah.
for most of our roles that we hire for, it's, we want people that are passionate about what we do. Passion is a huge part of our culture and the way we do business and the way we interact with our clients and the way we interact with our community. So without that passion, without, like you said, you talk about checking boxes, right? How many employers are like exactly what you said? They don't, they're 1 year off with this qualification
And that's the thing when sometimes a role's been open for a long time.
right.
I just filled a role that was open for 2.5 years.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
So, and you have to take a step back here. Like something's broken in the hiring process if
Right.
it takes that long. And I'm gonna say the majority of that time, majority of the reason, it's a mindset focus.
Yeah.
You're too focused on the box, checking the box, right?
Right.
More of a case of desperation versus inspiration, right? You gotta, what defines the success of this role in the company, right?
Mhm.
What does success look like in this role? Or what type of person thrives in your culture? Ask
Mhm.
that question, right?
Those are excellent, excellent questions for candidates to ask. And I wish people would ask more of those. We've had some applicants that have asked those questions.
Yeah, it's just basically,
Yeah, I love those
your
questions.
culture, So, as a hiring manager or a leader in your company, no matter how big the company is, if it's a little company, 10
Yeah.
employees or 100,000 employees, right? What's the culture like in your company? And those are the folks, those are the A players that you have to hire
Yeah.
because they're going to thrive. Now, here's a big, I'm going to pick on you here, right?
I love
We did a delegate like the hotshot podcast a little, pull back, right? Question for you to ask is, what will this hire do to free up your time,
That's
right?
really
To be a
important.
leader
Yeah.
instead of a doer. Because leaders are doers, obviously, but tell me a little stuff. Now, how have you done that? I know we talked about this already, but summarize it.
Yeah, I mean, I spent, like I mentioned, I think in the last episode, I spent a lot of time going through and figuring out why I couldn't delegate certain tasks that I did. And some of it you just have to get over. I mean, it's just tough. You just got to trust people. You allow them to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes because you're almost robbing them of growth when you don't do that.
Yeah, and exactly. And then they'll leave.
Yeah.
So, A players will leave your company
Yeah.
if you don't allow them to lead at some point or you don't mentor them into a leadership role.
Exactly.
Right? So that's the difference between hiring a warm body
Mhm.
and hiring a hotshot. Because at the end of the day, a leader
Love that.
is a hotshot,
Right.
right? And it goes back to, a mindset shift is the first step in marketing your company as a great place to work.
Right.
All right. So, what's your strategy here? So, we always talk about checking the boxes and moving the needle, right?
Yeah.
So, what's some of your thought? And I'm talking as a hiring manager again.
Yeah.
I'm the recruiter, you're the hiring manager, right?
Yeah.
And I'm working with you. I'm helping you fill roles at your company.
Right. So
How are
like
you going to change?
that's really important because being able to delegate that to somebody else because it is a lot of work, We had, I want to say just for our internship program alone, we had, I want to say close to 100 applicants for the summer program. And then for the fall and winter, I did a posting on LinkedIn. I got 50 or 60, whatever the limit was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, none of these are good. So like being able to, we talk about checking boxes to just circle back to that for just a minute. When we've actually in our application put on things so that they clearly understand that this isn't a remote position, and we actually have that. They have to, in order to submit the application, they have to say, I understand that this is not a remote position and that I have transportation to and from your office. Because
Did they take a scooter or a bike?
well, we had somebody that took the bike here over the summer, if
Oh,
you
wow.
remember, which was kind of cool. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't care if they own a car. I don't care if they do public transportation. We have actually two people that have done public transportation to get here, which is great. Um, but it's like, it's not virtual. And a lot of times I'm going through resumes and I'm even talking to people and they're like, oh, I live in Ohio. And I'm like, well, getting all the way out to Massachusetts is going to be one heck of a commute. It's
You have your own plane? You
yeah.
can fly
I mean, it was
from.
a 10, 12-hour drive when I
Yeah.
went out there this summer. But that's an important thing is to, be able to save your time because that's really key. Some of our smaller hotshots, they may not have the ability to bring on a staffing firm,
Yeah.
but like the value that a staffing firm adds, just, share some of the added value that staffing firms bring on to this process to free up, time
Yeah.
for our hotshots to go and do other stuff.
I mean, that's the thing, that the little dibs with Broadreach, our company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all practitioners. We're all practitioners in our trade. We're all hiring managers for many, many, many years. Some of us have, we have the gray hair sporting and all that. So we've been there, done that, right? And we have the network too.
Right.
So we're going to save you time and money. Like the owner, John, that's what he mentions all the time is like we save our clients time and money. And every time you have a role that's empty in your company that's not doing work to grow your company's revenue, you're losing time and you're losing money.
Exactly.
And then you're losing your time if you're like, oh, I'll do it myself. And you're wasting your time going through resumes that are not even close.
Right.
And this leads to, making sure you have the right job description. This is another strategy. We talked about mindset shift a little earlier.
Yeah.
Your strategy is really build your job description to be a mission statement versus a checkbox. Like who's the type of employee that's gonna be successful at your company? They'll check the boxes later, and you're not gonna hire an account. You're not gonna hire a software developer to be an accountant.
Right.
Of course, they got to have the skills.
Yeah, they need to be able to do the job, even if they have the ambition and the desire and the ability to learn.
Yep, and that's the mission. So that's where we going back to Broadreach and all. We look for mission driven folks. We love A players.
Yeah.
Especially in sales. Yeah, you made the President's Club, but did you drive the company's mission? What was your part in that, in any role that you have, right? So that's a great thing. You're marketing your company like a hot shot. You're hiring like a hot shot.
Right.
You have a great mission statement in your job description. It's got to be part of your job description.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have the job description, you put it out there, people
You got
start
the mindset.
applying. You get the mindset. Then what's next?
What's next? You have to know where to get the right people,
Right.
right? And I don't want to sound very salesy today here, talking about my own company, but you have to work with your network. Job boards don't work anymore.
Right.
Indeed's nice and all that, but you're gonna get a lot of garbage there. And look the other way around too. A lot of the
Yeah.
jobs are not real either from a candidate perspective, but you have to really work your network.
Yeah.
And you have to, you have to, we have another one of our past episodes about networking like a hotshot. As a hiring manager, you should have a great network of recruiting companies and other professionals that will help you get those mission driven people
Right.
want them at your company. So, that's what hot shots do. They raise the bar, right? They
Right.
raise the bar there. And, your challenge this week, we're in Q4,
Yeah. Already. Oh
right?
my
We're
God.
already right into Q4. And, this is a time of year where companies free up budgets. They may have some money to hire people, or they're going into January and they're hiring people. Um, you know, this is your time, your next job. you know, Work on your mindset, think of from a soft skill perspective, build your job description not to be the check the box job
Right.
description, right? That's a big one, right? And this is you're going to notice changes,
Right.
right? So
Yeah. Doing all of that stuff. So, do we want to talk about interviewing real quickly, like how you can get the most out of that?
but you need to, as a hire, I'm going to talk from a hire. I always coach candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little interview tip I was coach candidates is you go there, you're a salesperson,
Right.
right? Yes, you need to sell that you can solve all the problems of the company.
Yeah.
But hiring manager has to sell just as much, right? They got to have the tools and the platform that allows that candidate to be successful at that company.
Mm-hmm.
There's still, yes, people are thinking it's an employer's market these days, but it's still for the right people, it's an employee's market. So how do you market your company like a hot shot? So you hire like a hot shot is yes, you're not going to have pizza on Fridays and all. No, people don't care about ping pong tables anymore at the office. They go there to work and that's it. So how do you get those mindset driven folks to work at your company? Think about that.
Right. And that's the tough thing, I think, because it's the market for the, as you call them, the A players, right? Those people, they're always in demand. You're always competing with other people for them, which makes it quite the challenge to try to, position yourself, especially if you're smaller. I mean, a lot of times what we like to do is along with every job description we create a scorecard so that we kind of have an idea of who's ideal for us so that when I interview a candidate, I can usually tell within the first 5 minutes if I'm going to hire them or not, or if they're a good fit or not.
I have a knack like that too. When I interview
Yeah.
candidates, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I even get into some of the more of the hard skill test and drilling, because I was a techie for many, many years, and I shocked the heck out of candidates when I start asking them tech questions. They're like,
Yeah.
"Are you a recruiter?" Yes, what I did before, but
Yeah.
getting back to the job description again, right? That's your first sales pitch, right, to get the right player,
Yeah.
right? Does that job description and does your company's mission, your company's website excite you as a hiring manager? Ask that question first because if it
Right.
doesn't excite you, it's probably not going to excite the A player. So
Yeah.
how do you? This is more of a marketing of the company.
Yeah.
What's some of your
No,
thoughts on that?
absolutely. So like when we were planning out our interns, and I like to talk about our internship program because I'm really proud of it. It's something that we've spent a lot of time with on there, but we have a separate section of our website just for that program. And what we did is it was just an application, and then I'm like, oh, why don't I add in some frequently asked questions? So by adding those things in there, it gave people answers. It helped them decide, is this even the right place? Like it, it's and this is something I'd like your opinion on because there's pros and cons to having people qualify or disqualify themselves on their own. The pro for it is that you're not spending time with people that may not be a good fit.
Yeah,
The con is like, would you be missing out on someone that might be on the fence that's terrific,
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think
I
about
think
that?
you have to, as a hiring manager, you should never be in convince mode, right? Because the right person is gonna want to work with you
Right.
if you qualify them by looking at their background and all
Yeah.
that. If they're, and, when I interview candidates, I love candidates that are asking me more questions than I'm asking them
Right.
because it shows their interest
Yeah.
in the role. I know I'm the intermediary in the recruiting space between the company and the candidate, but yeah, I love to see what questions they have
Yeah.
first. Yeah, because if they have a lot of questions, you're probably doing a great job, believe it or not, exciting them and marketing your company. If they have no questions, maybe you're not doing something right from the company side, right? As a hiring manager to excite the right candidate.
No, that's true. I mean, I've interviewed probably over 100 people over the years, and you can usually tell their level of excitement right off the bat. Like, we've had people that come in, they're like, "Oh, I've seen all the work you're doing in the community. I saw that you did this. I saw that you did that." For JVF, when I worked at, my prior employer, people would be like, "Oh, we go to your stores. We love I shop there all the time."
Yeah.
And like, that's the energy that I love
Yeah.
when a candidate shows that. And, some of that, it's just natural because your business is set up that way.
Yeah.
But then as the hiring manager, especially if you're not very well known in either the community or by your applicants, although they should be doing their research.
Yeah.
Big pet peeve of mine, by the way,
Yeah. What's that?
is that I worked for my first job 20 something years was on a .com. It's called Intellicast.com. And
Telecast. Wow.
yeah, it was the third largest weather website behind weather.com, and then AccuWeather was second.
Yeah.
And, we'd be hiring people like web designers, there was no social media back then, but like a lot of web designers, graphic designers, things like that. And I'd be like, "So what did have you seen our website?" First question I'd ask
Yeah.
people, "Do you know how many people would say no?"
Then they're done.
Yeah. And I'm like,
That's
yeah,
like number one right there. What
yeah,
research I see sometimes we have to, some of our searches are confidential. They're not going to know the
right.
website, which is fine,
Yeah.
but once they're aware of it and yeah, they may ask the right questions. We usually share the job descriptions,
Yeah.
but we don't share the company
But
name.
that's going through a recruiter. But
Yeah.
like, these
But
are
if it's
people that would apply, through ads. Get this, back in the Boston Globe. That's how long ago
what's a
it was.
Boston Globe?
I know.
What the hell is a Boston Globe? I don't know what that is.
But I mean, like, they'd respond to an ad in the newspaper, or I don't even think Monster.com was around back then. It may
Yeah.
have been, but like, they knew it was to work on a website, and I was astonished that they're like, "No, I haven't had a chance to look at the website," and I'm like, "All right," and I'm like, "All right, you can move on to the next person."
Next
I'm not
person.
wasting my
Well,
time talking
let
to
me
someone
let me
that's that lazy.
I'll retract back. Once the candidate gets through me,
Yeah.
they'll know the company.
Right, they'll
Yeah.
know the company and
So
they'll research
they'll
that, but it's
research.
like, these are things that as a hotshot manager will save you time.
Yeah.
Like, we have a scorecard that we use, so there's certain things that I expect people to know. When I have people, well, why, one of the first questions I ask people, "Why do you want to work here?" And they're like, "Because I need a job." Like,
It's
those
over.
people, yeah, I'm like, "Well, this was great talking to you. Enjoy, good luck with your search."
Yeah. But again, it comes back. I'm gonna switch it around to the hiring manager side, right?
Yeah.
Are you bringing in the right people, or is your recruiting company,
Right.
your talent acquisition, bringing the right people that are mission focused, right?
Yeah.
So let's go in for a landing. I think that plane is circling over us here, right? So as a hiring manager, a few things. The mindset shift, we talked about that. I think we
Right.
drilled that. The job description, we got to get that down.
Gotta get that
Third
done.
part, and this is a big one, especially when you get to the later rounds of interview, your interview team. Make sure your interview team is on the same mindset as you
Right.
and mission driven as you, and they know exactly what type of person we're looking to bring into the company.
Yeah.
I personally, that almost that like ended my IT career. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I was interviewing at a company, and I think I was on like a third round interview. It was for a VP role,
Hmm.
and I was at the third round. This woman walks in. She didn't even know my resume. So I luckily those days I used to make copies
Yeah.
and give it to her. I don't know why I'm here, but let me tell you what I do. I was like, whoa, oh my Lord, you're like totally off.
Oh
and then
my
she started
goodness.
complaining about her other coworkers. It destroyed me.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, get me out of here right now. So it's so important to get your interview team, have that lockstep, rock solid
Yeah.
on the same mindset. And then also have a process to do feedback immediately. Nothing worse. This is the bit I would say this whole podcast today for hiring managers to hire like a hotshot. The key is speed,
Mm.
especially for the good play. If there's somebody out there you want to hire, don't dilly dally and wait and hire that person. Make sure you get the mindset shift. The JD's good.
Yeah.
Your process is good. All that's already done before you even start looking at one person, right? You got to have speed to get that right person. I have some clients right now are 3, 4, 5 months into it. You know what? I've seen A players say, "Sorry, I already got another job already."
Right.
Yeah, and they're not going to wait around. A players don't wait around. The people you want to hire do not wait around. So you gotta get them while the file's hot. So that's, say, hot shot tactics.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one of all.
Is
Speed.
to be quick about it. I mean, we've run into that situation too, where someone's applied and it's just during a hectic time. So by the time I get back to it, or because we get so many resumes and I need to go through them,
So,
and by the time I get through them, this is where having help helps a lot,
yeah,
and will prevent this problem. But yeah, by the time I get through all the resumes that I'm looking at and then, get back to everybody, set up a meeting, here's how you do it. Some of them have been like, sorry, I already found something.
yeah, that's it.
Or people like, which I think is a little unprofessional, they just like no show
If you don't,
they
if
no
you don't
show the
show up,
interview
if you
because
don't
they
show
found
up, it's
something.
done.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
found something like, you find something else, it's just as a courtesy.
yeah,
Um, send us a note and just say, hey, I actually already found something that's closer to my house or more in line with what I want to do, but thank you for considering me. Like that is the professional way to do it. I
yeah.
had somebody that I called, like she set up the interview as a phone call. I called her back, or I called her and I'm like, hi, I'm calling to have your for your interview. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm in an appointment right now. I can't talk. And,
It's done.
yeah,
I'm
and
sorry.
it's like,
So, hiring like a hot shot. If anyone gives you that runaround,
yeah,
move on because you
yeah,
already know that they're not the same
they're
as you.
not serious.
They're
And
not
it's like,
serious. You don't
and I'm
want.
better off without having to pursue something like
Yeah.
that.
All right, man. Well, anyways,
All right.
wow, this was a good one.
This is a really, really good one.
Passionate to my heart. I love connecting talent to opportunity out there. I love helping hiring managers, being one myself. I know a little sales driven today, huh? But
No, but
yeah,
it's good. It's
it's good
helpful.
stuff. But definitely subscribe to Market Like a Hot Shot. You want to hire like a hot shot because then to market your company to hire the right people. Okay, so get definitely on, what is it? We're on like all these platforms
We're
today.
on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon, YouTube.
YouTube, if up, you want to see our beautiful Italian
Yeah.
faces, you go on YouTube. So, and also, it's getting cold out there, right, Mr.
Yep.
Fuda?
So we've got the long sleeves on this
We
week,
got the
and
long sleeves, but most important, you got to get yourself a Market Like a Hot Shot hoodie
yeah,
to keep warm, right?
marketlikeahotshot.com. You can buy your favorite merch from us and
That's that.
support your favorite podcast. And
Tell your friends.
yeah, tell your friends about it. And again, this is one of the ones that if you're not ready yet to make any hiring decisions, even if you're a solopreneur and you'll be partnering with other people, there's a lot of we can talk about this thing for hours. There's a couple things that
Yeah,
we'll do some follow-up episodes
yeah,
on more details. We didn't even get into like the contracts and all that other
yeah.
stuff
That's
you got
another
to
that's
do. But
contract.
that'll be another episode down the road. But yeah, bookmark this one. This is
All
going to
right,
be one to save.
all right. Well, have a good day. Market Like a Hot Shot.